Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PvP tournament. This is one of the best events we have every single year. Some familiar faces every year. I'm joined by Kachi and Varone, who've been doing a fantastic job commentating the tourney so far. How's it been, guys?
It's been brilliant. We've seen some really good matches. We've had a few kind of sort of mediocre run-of-the-mill fittings that people have really warmed to and they've used a lot. But yeah, there's been a little bit of diversity. It's been good.
It's been a good time. It's been a lot of fun. I think people have been really enjoying themselves, and I think they've really settled into what they're going to be comfortable with, what they know they're going to do the best with, and have the most success with. So it's definitely a lot of competitive spirit going back and forth.
And I mean, Varone, we've seen you plenty at Alliance tournaments. Kachi, it'll surprise me if we don't see you at Alliance tournaments in the future. How is this different than the Alliance tournament?
Well, I mean, you've got all the guys sat together. They're not communicating over Ventrilo TeamSpeak, so there's a lot more pressure on. They've got a huge live audience. They're on stage for the finals. There's a hell of a lot of really good real-life prizes as well. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure on, I guess.
I have to wonder if they aren't here a little bit more for the fun element too. I mean, they obviously came to Iceland. They're here at Fanfest, and maybe they didn't come exactly for the PvP tournament, but they're clearly having some success with it, and they're really enjoying themselves. So maybe there's a little bit about just kind of having the good time and meeting these players and doing that, and not necessarily about winning and losing.
I think you're exactly right, and we heard CCP Yokai talk about when he was a player at last FanFest, and he actually came into the tournament with just a pickup team and just came in second place, and it was pretty wonderful. To those at home that just checked in, we're here with the final of the Alliance tournament, or the FanFest PvP tournament, I should say, with Kachi and Varone. The teams are just setting up now. They have about 10 minutes to fit their ships and get ready to fight. Speaking of the Alliance tournament, the rule sets are a little bit different. What's the rule set for this setup?
Pretty much we have 2 teams of 4. They have a 15-minute match. They have the ability to field either, any Tech 1 cruiser or an assault frigate. They can use T2 damage modes, T2 weapons. Everything defensive is T1. They have a 15-minute match, and they have a beacon that they have to capture and control. So they start out at the station. They're allowed to warp in. If they lose a ship, they can reship, but they have to have complete superiority over the battlefield for 5 minutes to be able to capture.
One of the things we've really stressed over the course of Varone and I commentating over the previous day's matches was that they're using basically the faction warfare bunker rules, and you have to have a ship at the control point, and if there's even one enemy ship there within that section of space, you're not generating any points. So the match does go 15 minutes, but it could actually be shortened if one team has complete superiority and just sits there and captures it for the 5-minute duration, I believe it is, that it takes to hold it.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a few teams in the early stages come in, and then when they've lost their ships, they've just come back in and they've kind of trickled in one at a time, and they've just been picked off. So they haven't been able to get back towards the beacon to contest it, and they've ended up losing out. So there's a lot of tactics and there's a lot of teamwork involved.
Yeah, and you mentioned it trickling in one at a time. It's not necessarily the best idea. If you're in a bad spot, you just got kicked out of the field. Is it worth giving up a minute just to get together and come in together?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the big hurdles that teams have been overcoming. Is I think they're very desperate to get back and contest that point. Yeah. And I think that has a strategy that has been not working out. And so I think we'll see here, especially with the final teams, that it's going to be about the leadership and the cohesion. And okay, you know what? We just need to give them a minute of time. Let's all get our ships up. Let's get outside the station and let's go together.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we should expect to see some degree of organization. At least these teams have won all their fights, as far as I remember, rather convincingly as well. What are some of the setups we're seeing for this? I mean, you can't use all ships in this tournament.
Oh no, you can't use all ships. You're limited to T1 cruisers and assault frigates. We've seen a couple of people use Ishkas, just as a little kite ship. We've seen a lot of ruptures. There have been so many rupture versus rupture slugfests where people will just a huge pile of ruptures, basically. We've seen a few people use really heavily tanked mowers to keep a presence in the beacon at all times to prevent the opposing team from actually capturing it. So there's been a lot of messing around.
Yeah, it's been very predominantly rupture heavy. Like Varone said, there was a couple teams who employed MOAs. We've seen a little bit of success with Vexers. I'm not sure if any of those teams have made it here today. I think one of them is, who's seen a lot of success using that. We've seen a little bit of Thorax use. Almost no Amar presence, with the exception of one team who brought a bunch of Omens. And I think we've seen maybe 1 or 2 Maulers slipping in there, but otherwise it's been very predominantly rupture heavy.
Yeah. Is it surprising to see some of the ships that you might expect to see here? Like, what are we missing? Low number of Mars ships. What else should we have expected to see, but just hasn't turned out?
It's probably not a surprise that we're not seeing the T1 logistics ships. I believe the rules actually very specifically prohibit remote logistics. So we haven't seen any of those, but that probably is not a surprise there.
Yeah.
I think not seeing arbitrators is
Yeah.
a little because we have seen some Vexer use. You would think the arbitrator kind of fills a similar role, but
Yeah, I mean,
Is this a result of a relatively offensive rule set? Tech 2 weapons, Tech 1 defensive modules.
definitely. I mean, the Rupture, you see so many PvP videos from Eve based around the Rupture. You see so many rookies flying it. You see guys with 80, 90 million skill points flying a Rupture purely because they're so versatile. I mean, you can go really heavy plate tank, 1600s, downsize your weapons to dual 180s, and you've got a brilliant, really heavily tanked ship. Or you can go the other route. You can go 220 Vulcans, 800 mil plate, or just go with a completely passive resistance-based setup. So it's very versatile.
yeah, it's definitely the rule set encourages a much more offensive play style. With the exception of, again, we've seen like that one MOA who just kind of sits there and squats on the bunker. But otherwise, it's very much a slugfest. It's getting out there and doing as much damage and eradicating your opponent off the field, because that is how you win, and that's what's important here.
I mean, the slugfests are fun to watch.
Yes, they're great. There are lots of ships exploding all the time.
I know. So we're going to have the two finalists here. We're going to have the third and fourth place. Are these guys just fighting for the honor? Do we have anything cool lined up for them?
Oh, we've got some really good stuff lined up for them. I believe the winning team will each get an Alienware M11X, 11-inch form factor netbook, and I believe the runners-up will receive a
Really
N560
nice NVIDIA card.
TXTi. So yeah,
Someone told me that the Alienware laptops, they're top of the line. Someone said you can run 7 Crysis clients on max settings. They probably lied, but it is a good
yeah.
laptop.
Well,
It's a great lie.
Yeah, it is. I wish. No, I got an M11X about three and a half months ago,
Yeah.
and it just absolutely blows Eve out of the water. Eve looks fantastic on it.
Yeah. I think if it turns out to be a draw, we should just take them.
Yeah, we should.
That seems hard but fair.
Anyway, so you guys have been watching these teams. Do you have any kind of sense of anyone having an edge? Do you have favorites? Who do you think is going to take it?
Well, I felt that Kane 2,
Yeah.
the team is setting up right behind us. They've been really, really calm and composed the whole time. They've really had their stuff together. They seem real organized. We've seen some teams that have had kind of the big cheering sections. They've got their FC who's real loud and proud, and he's out there and he's yelling. These guys have just kind of seemed to got their stuff together, and they just kind of work as a unit.
Yeah, I mean, we have had several instances of small-scale violence as well. There was people throwing water bottles and stuff at each other, when they weren't
may
doing
or
what
may
they were
not have been
told.
happening.
Yeah.
Serious business.
They're unconfirmed reports.
So yeah, I mean, it has gotten a little bit intense.
Yeah.
But Kane 2 have had a hell of a lot of support. They've had like the whole cheering crowd around them when they
The
were in
cheering
Arena 4
section.
yesterday. Yeah.
Have you had any of the big alliances, any of the big teams that you're surprised to see knocked out?
Let's see. I don't think so. We had there was a really, really good Rage team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they didn't make it to the final round, but they really had their stuff together representing. We got Pandemic Legion in the finals.
Yeah,
I
we
think
have.
Pandemic Legion are in for the third, fourth
Yeah, they are.
place
They're
fight,
in for the
actually.
playoff.
That's a big name as well that we know. But apart from that, none of the usual favorites from the Alliance tournament.
Well, this is everyone sort of signed up in teams, so it's not sort of like say the Alliance tournament where it's an actual alliance that's representing their members. So we definitely have people who are kind of polling people, friends. I mean that's what's great about this is it's a big social gathering, it's a big community event. So
Yeah, well, we saw it last year. The PvP tournament last year was won by a group of 4 who just randomly signed up together.
Yeah, and second
Um,
place was
yeah.
Yokai and Team
Yeah,
Bubblegum.
exactly.
That
Yeah.
were
So-
basically really drunk and didn't know each other's names.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of necessarily corporate or alliance representation in a sense. There's a lot of cohesion in that way. It's definitely just friends getting together, and maybe they fight each other in the game, but they're coming together to play together in the tournament.
Yeah.
So the sequence we're in now is that they're in the 10-minute fitting window. This is basically when the teams get ready to fight. Then there's the 15-minute battle where who knows what's going to happen.
Well, what's going to happen is they actually have 1 minute left to do their fitting. So that's your 1 minute warning, guys. Finish your fitting. So in a minute, we're going to tell them they got to undock. They're not allowed to undock until that point. They can undock. They can sit outside the station, but not go anywhere or do anything. And an important element of the rules is the other team cannot come to your station and camp your exit or anything like that. But once we tell them to undock, and then we'll get them warped to the beacon, and then the fight starts, and it goes for 15 minutes or until someone captures.
Have we had any team try to camp the undock box?
We had one of the PL guys yesterday ask if it was actually possible they could go and camp the station, but unfortunately it's against the rules, so they weren't allowed to do so. And they
Hey
were very
guys,
upset.
real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but all we need are both the teams to undock, but not warp anywhere, please. Please undock now.
I think that means that the
Yeah,
finals getting
I think
closer.
yeah.
Teams are on the field.
By the second.
I'm really looking forward to see. I'm really looking forward to see. So, I think we're going to see quite a few ruptures again.
I agree, definitely.
What else are we going to see? Do you think? We can just take a blind stab and look like geniuses if we get it
Hopefully a big part of thoraxes as well.
I would not be surprised to see that secret MOA,
Yeah, that secret mode that we didn't actually know what they were doing with it at
and
first.
it wouldn't die.
Yeah.
Was it like the bait osprey we had last year?
Yes, it was. It was exactly what it was like.
Bait osprey, if people remember, it was a mining tournament, and some people warped an osprey in, and they thought it was going to be a mining ship, but it was just tanked, and it just sat there taking damage while they took the rest of the team out. It was
Yeah.
clever osprey.
I think it's time to take the focus off us and get to the teams now, get to the action. Guys, you guys can go ahead and now warp to your beacons, and the match can start.
So we now have a 15-minute match.
I think something that's
And
very
there we
interesting to
go.
note. I think something that's very interesting to discuss about this is the fact that it is actually a surprisingly long warp to the beacon. I think we actually talked to a couple competitors. They said it was like a solid like 20 or 20-second warp. So it wasn't like if you die.
Oh,
And you've gotta
nice.
come
And it
back.
looks like we are actually going to have one hell of a slugfest. And it looks like it is indeed.
Hey, there's our MOA. He won't go away.
Yep, and we've got ruptures all around for Kane too.
And if you die, I mean, you're warping back, and then you have to redock, and then you have your 20-second timer to get into a new ship,
Yeah.
and then
there
warp
is-
back. I mean, you're losing very precious time every time you die.
Yeah, there is absolutely no limit to how many ships you can field in this. You can basically, every time your ship is destroyed, you can head straight back to the station, you can dock, you can reship, you can come back out. We've actually seen some teams who have, they've fitted like half a dozen ships each, just ready so that they can go straight back to
Yeah.
the station, get straight in, be back out again immediately.
We have, looks like, almost we have first blood. Both teams are about to be almost, looks like 1-1 now. So it's definitely going to be coming down to, what do you think is the most important element of this? You think it's being the team that strikes fastest, hardest, first, and controls the beacon earliest? Or do you think it's more about the team that can come back and make sort of the comeback run?
I think it's far more about cohesion and FCing because you need to keep everyone together, you need to keep everyone very focused. Hell yes. You've got to keep everyone focused, you've got to keep everyone, moving in the same direction. You start to lose ships, you're going to lose focus, you're going to lose cohesion.
Yeah, we're talking about losing
Yeah,
lots of
you've got to
time.
get everyone back to the station, you've got to bring everyone in again at once because if you don't, you're just going to get picked off one at a time.
Now, do you think it's worth having sort of that, let's say you are that team that gets wiped off the field first. Do you think you employ like a Sol strategy? You send that one ship back that tries to hold the line and then get everyone to come back as one? Or do you try and get them all together and then give them that extra minute of bunker time?
Well, that's going to depend on the loadout. I mean, if you have that mower, you can send that mower in. It's going to be able to sit there. It's just going to be able to tank like hell, and you're not going to be able to move it. I mean, predominantly what we've seen from every team, pretty much, is when they're fielding ruptures, they're fielding high damage, heavily plated, autocannon fitted. So they're using the fall off. They're sitting themselves inside the bubble or the sphere of influence for the beacon, and they're just kind of like sat there. They're using the fall off of the autocannons, and they're just kicking the crap out of anything that comes anywhere near them.
What about, the teams only have 10 minutes to fit their ships, and that is actually a very surprisingly short time to
It
fit
is.
ships, especially when they have a really, I'm sure at this point especially, they have a really good idea of what they want to put on their ships, but I mean, you're still basically doing it naked. You don't have saved fittings or anything like that. You can just click a button and it goes. Do you think, with that said, that you are giving people roles like, hey, we're going to need someone if we die to just go sit on the bunker. We're going to have to put as many plates on you. We need you to change into this ship and then just go sit in the bunker and live as long as possible team comes? Or do you say everyone get 2 good ships you can go with and just kind of make the magic happen at that?
Again,
Do you give people specific roles? Or?
oh yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
It looks like right here we have Kane 2 is definitely in a dominant position on the bunker. They've actually been capturing it and they've got it for, they got 2 minutes left on, 2.5 minutes left on the timer, capturing it for, now this is the Caldari state. Again, we were talking about how it's faction warfare is the rule system they're using. So it's the Caldari or the Galente. Ooh.
It kind of all go up in the air. I mean, as soon as they get a ship back on the field, an opposing ship with inside the sphere of influence, that will be contested. It will stop counting, and that's it pretty much. They have to get everyone outside of that bubble again. They have to get everyone off the field, and they have to have complete superiority to be able to actually.
I just realized this whole time I've been doing the movie screen thing. I've been trying to look up, and I realized I have my own monitor.
Now
right
we have
here.
a screen
Yeah,
that we can
I didn't
see.
even
Awesome.
notice it the whole time. You
Yeah,
can
I
hear
mean,
the
we've got-
FCs making their calls. That's actually very interesting. You guys don't be able to hear it out there, and definitely not from the TV. But you can, they're very a lot of teamwork going on. Now, one of the
Nice.
things we've seen is a lot of drones out there. Obviously, I mean, one, the Rupture can field like 4 lights, I think.
Yeah.
Vexers can have a whole rack of mediums. You think there's something to be said? Think there's
Nice.
something to be said for running smart bombs, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. A medium smart bomb is going to have a lot of difficulty chewing through a medium drone. It's a fairly small pulse of damage, so you're going to need a few cycles, and it's going to take time. As well as that, if you have any drones inside the sphere of influence, inside the bubble, you're going to catch them if they're your own. So yeah, it's really hit and miss with a smart bomb. I mean, we've seen in Alliance tournaments before where people have made a really, really bad call. They've ended up destroying all their own drones, and it's a big chunk of DBS. We have just over a minute left in favor of the Caldari State. It looks like KN2 might actually take this complete superiority of the field.
So this is a Galente-themed Fanfest. Do you think that people want the Galente to win, or are they more favoring the Caldari State? I mean, we're here in Do-Dixie. We're in the station right now.
Yeah,
But I mean, this looks like it could very well end up being a Caldari victory. Do you think that's gonna? Do you think people are gonna have a lot of emotions about that, or do you think people doesn't really care?
I think people just want to see everyone die.
Yeah,
pretty
exploding
much.
all over the place.
We've got, again there, we can see that Tribe are using the Moa.
To go in that MOA.
Straight back away, again, wow.
Do you think they've learned their lesson? I mean, we have seen the MOA be very successful over the course of the weekend, and it looks like now they're just like, hey, let's not even deal with it, let's explode. I mean, that thing was there for
straight down,
seconds.
straight down. We always find that with Caldari ships, though. I mean, you can put a hell of a passive tank on them, and they'll sit there quite happily until they hit armor, and then it's just gone. But I mean, we've seen that tactic with the Moa used really successfully. We saw a couple of teams that just could not get it off the field, could not take the contestment off the bubble, and that was it. 40 seconds remaining on the timer. It looks as if KN2 are actually going to take this. Which
I think it doesn't come as a huge surprise to me. I've been sort of rooting behind, for them behind the scenes. I've
absolutely.
seen they've got their stuff together, and I think it's really here in the finals. It's really you can see the teamwork coming together and really pulling their things together. And they've got the battlefield. They've destroyed all their opposition. It's going to be a while before they can show back up on the field. I mean, there's only seconds left. This one looks like it's pretty much in the books.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much done. It looks as if KN2 are going to take it. It's, wow, congratulations, guys. Less than 10 seconds to go.
Maybe we'll get 1,
3,
2, 1.
And there we have KN2, Fanfest 2011,
I actually
PvP
have
tournament
their
champions.
information down here too. Their team leader is Svetlana, their FC, Darius. Raise your hand, guys. Representation. And we've got Saiva and SweatX. Congratulations, guys.
And it is actually worth noting as well that we
Sweat
have
X.
a completely rookie PvPer as part of
right there.
the KN2 team.
This weekend,
His
the
first
PvP
PvP
tournament,
experience
his
was
very
at
first
Fanfest. Completely
PvP
in the
experience
tournament.
right here in the finals.
And guys, you're going to be getting the brand new Alienware laptops. Of course, second place, who did really well. You guys are going to be taking home graphics cards just to have a little bit something for you.
Oh!
Now we have 2 more teams coming up here pretty soon. And then we have a third place match, I believe, as well, the loser bracket, right?
We do, and while the third place team set up, we're going to have the first and second place team just go up on the balcony and talk to the lovely Stevie SG following this this match. If you guys will just get ready to scoot on up there and have a chat, let's get the other teams. Congratulations, guys! Fantastic work. There we go. Thank you. Congratulations.
Unfortunate, guys, but congratulations on making the final.
Great showing, guys. Good game, guys.
Yeah, good game. Excellent
That's right.
job,
There's the
guys.
love from the community right here. Great fight, guys. Good fight.
Okay, guys, we're just seeing the team switch in now. We'll have another 10-minute warm-up here. That was a pretty dominant effort. What happened?
It's that rupture loadout yet again. I mean, it's unbelievably clever, and it's unbelievably hard to defeat as well. I mean, it's raw DPS. It's just got staying power. If you put pretty much anything against it, you've just got a whole mess of trouble to deal with.
I haven't had a a huge opportunity to go and kind of amongst the teams and watch them finish, but I did have a couple minutes, during matches where I would kind of stroll amongst the teams watching. And one of the things I noticed was each Rupture loadout was a little bit different from their other team members.
Ah.
So you would have one person would put, a shield extender on theirs just to give them a little bit more buffer before they hit armor. Some of them would be very heavily armor tank. Some of them wouldn't have any armor tank. I saw several one where they just have like a shield extender and their bottoms were just like tracking enhancers and gyro stabilizers, and it was just massive DPS. I think there's definitely a little bit of luck coming into it where you're making the target call and you're happening to get the ship that has a little bit less tank than the other ones because it's more damage focused, and you're not getting the one they want you to get, which is the one that's got just that little bit extra buffer on it.
What can you do as a team if you have these mixed setups? Is there anything you can do to kind of put the pieces in the right place? Have the armor tank one go in first, hope they target that, come in later with the heavy DPS ones. Do you think they're consciously doing that stuff as well?
Probably, almost certainly. I mean, you have a team where the basic human instinct, especially when you're going to fight, is you kind of go after the first guy you see, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so maybe they're doing that where they're sending in the more heavily tanked ship first and then going, okay, he's there that critical 3 seconds where their FC is making a call on who to target. He's the first name that pops up.
Yeah, and I mean, it is all about cohesion. There's a fine line between sending your guys in a staggered formation, where you're going to put the first guy in with the heaviest tank and then slowly bring the DPS in behind them. But then you've got the issue that if the FC makes a bad call, they're too strung out. And you get to the point where one comes in, bang, a second one comes in, bang. And you've got to make the right call, and it's all down to an FC and an FC's experience how to do that. So a lot of it is tactics.
Last year we also saw that in the Tech 3 tournament that players would have different ammo types in their cargo hold and simply switch it out. They just run through all types of ammo and just see where the best damage came from. Would there be any sense in just trying out the different targets to try and locate who you should be going for?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen the vast majority of teams have just stuck with Barrage because of the fall-off. And they've just literally all heaped into the middle. They've tried to keep as many ships as they can inside the sphere of influence for the bunker, and they've just used the fall-off of the autocannons just to reach out as far as they need to and to get people out of the way.
And we also, you are going to have, especially with, I think you can very consistently predict that the majority of your opponents are going to be running these ruptures, so you know what their resistance hole is,
yeah.
Right? And you can probably plan for the earthquake. But yeah, you can probably plan for their, expecting what that, using the ammo that's going to be most effective against their resistance hole.
Well, yeah, I mean, we saw a few people field the Mars ships, and fielding the Mars ships against a rupture is a pretty bad idea. They have naturally high EM armor resistances, so a big chunk of your DPS from your lasers is immediately just negated.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were talking about how we'd see the ruptures, and it turned out we did. Is there anything to counter that? What if you knew that you were going to go up with a rupture team? Is there any sense in taking chance on something that might be able to take it out?
More ruptures, basically. Yeah.
I actually, one of the things we have not seen are assault frigates or assault ships, which are allowed in this. I'm not necessarily sure they're the right answer to the rupture, but I did see an all Ishkar team. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but in that specific match, it dominated the field. And I think, they're having a little bit harder trim tracking, and they're going to be a little speedier, they're going to be a little smaller. Maybe that's an answer to it, but I'm not sure at this point in the game that they can get out of what's comfortable for them.
Yeah. There was a couple of our guys theorizing as well about using an all-Minmatar assault frigate loadout, using 2 Wolves and 2 Jaguars. The Jaguars, of course, get 2 extra mid-slots, so you can mess around a little bit with a little bit of support as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that might definitely be a good setup. So the next teams we have coming up, we have Pandemic Legion versus what is our 4th team? Is it a mystery team?
No, these are the guys who, I actually have their name wrote down here. It's W Pro. These guys only fought 1 match yesterday. There were a few no-shows in their bracket, so they advanced right through to the semi-finals without fighting a single match. Unfortunately, they lost out, but,
Well, that's convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually had a little bit of the same situation in the poker tournament for charity, where a guy came in second 2 times in a row, and he wanted to buy in, but no one else was playing, so he just said, what if I just buy the entire table? And he basically just bought 10 poker spots and won the table against himself. But I mean, it's all money going to charity, so can't really complain about that. So yeah, but definitely exciting. We're hoping to see the teams up here soon so we can start the 10-minute countdown. We'll also be talking to the 1st and 2nd place team about the prizes, about all this cool stuff. What's our 3rd place prize?
Our third place prize is, I believe, the Killer 2100 Gaming Network card, which is just a PCI Express card that reduces latency, helps to just smooth out your network signal, and helps with gaming. Basically.
And lets you kill better.
Yes.
And what was it you said earlier? It's so fast it'll burn your house down.
Absolutely. You cannot physically plug that in.
That's true.
You just have to put it in the box and look at it.
They immerse it in
Wait
water.
for something to happen.
Yeah.
Fourth place,
They got to come to FanFest.
they got to come to FanFest. We'll
Yeah.
give them a hug.
Yeah.
We'll give them a hug. That'll be, or just the glory and honor of competing
and
and
getting to be up here on the stage and have us talk at them. So.
Or we'll write a diploma for them.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think the
Get the other teams
guys
up here,
were
and then we'll
filling
get
up
their
up here and
timer counting down. They do have to reset basically the server every time as well, because they want to reset the bunkers. They need to clear the field, all that sort of stuff. So there is definitely a technical process behind getting the matches going now to kind of go through
and I think we can just do this in the background. We can go to the lovely Stevie SG, who has our tournament first and second place up on the balcony. Good job.
Well, to the victors go the spoils, and I am joined by the victors of the PvP tournament. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
If you'd like to introduce yourself, just for the people who've just tuned in.
I'm Svetlana Scarlet.
I'm Sweatix.
Saiva.
And I'm Darius.
And are you the team captain?
Yes. Actually, she's the team
Well,
captain.
You're the team captain.
He's the FC, so
Well, you guys must be pleased as punch. It's quite a big accolade to win the PvP tournament. There's been thousands of EVE players that have been taking, that have been here at FanFest, lots of them watching, loads of them taking part. Now, you guys are obviously pretty organized. You're all part of, is Kane Alliance?
Kane Corporation.
Corporation.
Independent Navy Reserve.
Okay, and how long have they been going?
I've been in it since 2005, and I think it was around a year before that, so
Okay, and what do you guys mainly do in game?
mostly PvP.
Well, apparently, and you're actually pretty good at it as well. So did you come knowing you wanted to take part in the PvP tournament, or was it just a spur of the moment thing?
Actually, some of our court mates signed us up without even telling us, so it was a
kidding.
surprise.
That's amazing. And so I guess you had to strategize pretty quickly.
No, we actually got together with the other team that we had entered, and
You had two teams
we
in
had
it.
two teams.
Good.
And so we went over setups and everything, and actually we probably won because they lost their first match, and we refined the setup that we used.
Now, obviously, playing EVE at FanFest is all kind of different from playing EVE at home. Were you guys nervous?
No. Yeah, at first when we were buying, sorry for the voice. When we were buying fittings, I was nervous, but when we undocked the station, no nervous.
And would you do anything differently next time?
Probably not. It was an epic fitting.
Now, obviously, like it's all about the glory. It's also about the prizes. We had the second place up here. They seemed pretty bummed that they weren't winning those lovely, lovely goodies. What means more for you, glory or prizes?
I don't know if either one really, but I mean the laptop will be nice for sure.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the laptop, but I'll take both.
Yeah, I'd like one too. I mean, if you guys have one spare, it could be pretty good. Are you going to come back next year?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, most probably.
Cool. What do you like most about FanFest? I mean, is this your high point, or are has there been other things that you've been really excited about?
I think probably the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is the CCP Presents this afternoon, actually.
Well, me too. Congratulations, guys. Brilliant showing. We'll see you here next year, and we're going to be back in just 1 minute.
And I think we're back. We just got the sound back there. That was the lovely Stevie SG talking to the first place winners of the, well, I guess you're a winner if you're in first place, technically.
First place losers.
The first place losers. The first place winner of a magnificent Alienware laptop capable of running 7 Crysis clients at highest resolution. Guys, we're beginning setting up now. They have 10 minutes. Have you guys been checking these teams out during the tournament?
So we've been watching Pandemic Legion a little. They've been pretty dominant, as they always are, in Alliance tournaments and in FanFest PvP tournaments. But W Pro have come through as well. Well, they've sort of come through.
Sort of come through.
Because everyone else didn't
They won
show
a
up.
match at least.
But yeah, they won it. No, they lost a match, but yeah. It's going to be an interesting trade-off.
They got to, because of the way the brackets worked out and a couple no-shows, they end up making it literally all the way to the semifinals, playing only one match. And that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. They got the lucky end of the stick, but obviously they're competent players and they're here for a reason. I'm sure they're gonna have a good time. So, and who knows? They're a strange X factor. I mean, no one has really seen them compete. They could bring something entirely out of the woodwork that
They don't
blows
even
our
know what's
mind.
going to happen.
Yeah.
Bring the all T1 frigate fleet and just whoa.
Yeah. But I mean, that's exciting. Have you guys competed in one of these tournaments?
I've never actually competed in any tournament in EVE.
Oh, you've been too busy working,
I've been
commentating.
too busy working.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have not competed in anything as well. So, well, Fanfest marks my 1 year anniversary of playing EVE, so I'm still relatively new to the game. So,
Oh, well,
I haven't
you
had the
certainly picked
opportunity.
up quickly. Yeah.
I
Thank
suddenly feel horrendously old.
One thing
Everyone,
I
of
guess
course.
we should talk about is that right now they have their 10 minutes to fit the ships, and we'll give them the timer in a minute.
Yeah, we have about 7.5 minutes remaining for these guys to fit their ships, and then we'll ask them to undock, and hopefully we can get a match underway.
Now, of course, they're going to be stocking up on ships. Are you just going to be fitting as many ships as you possibly can in 10 minutes, or do you have like, these are the 4 ships we want, do them and we're ready?
We've seen pretty much every team do this. I mean, we've seen like hangars full of ruptures. The market is seeded with everything they can actually fit within the rules, so they can't actually buy anything off the market that's going to void their fitting. So we've just seen guys go through, and each player will be fitting like 5, 6, 7, 8 ruptures. All their cookie cutter loadouts that they want to use for the tournament, and basically they'll come back, wait out the session change timer, jump into the ship. They'll be outside the station. Sometimes they kind of get a bit cohesive and they'll form into a group. They'll all warp in together. Other times they just kind of go in and drop like flies.
When I've been kind of prowling amongst the teams, watching them fit their ships, as Vernon said, Verone. Anyways, what I've noticed is that they'll have a huge roster of ruptures, whatever that core combat ship is that they want to fly, and then they will have 1 or 2 other ships that maybe they've managed to slip in, because 10 minutes is a very tight time to try and fit these ships, and so they might get that sort of specialized roles like, hey, if this happens or that happens, this is what we need you to do. And so they managed to fit a couple other ships in there as well, if possible.
And it might be good if you have alternates, if you jump out in your ruptures and you see they bring something you hadn't expected at all. Just being able to have the flexibility to switch back and forth has to be an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of it is these guys are sat 10 feet apart from each other, and they still do not know what the hell each other are going to field until we get them on the battlefield. And it's, yeah, it's good to see it. I mean, I think we're probably going to see lots of ruptures again, but meh.
Yeah, they don't actually know. No one's yelling what I'm fitting. I'm putting this and this on my rupture. That would never work out.
Well, one of the things I've seen is like the previous team came to, they had like an iPad or some sort of tablet PC where they had figured it all out and they had written it out, and they were sitting there with their at the computer going, okay, well, this is what I'm buying, this is what's going on the ship. I'm sure teams have got it written down, they've got it connected to memory, they've got it in their wallet, something like that. I mean, they've clearly figured out what they want to do, and they're doing it, and they have a very limited time to do it in. So
yeah, I mean, we've seen all the teams have a very clear-cut idea of what they want to do. It's just a matter of actually applying that once they get on the field. And we've seen it very hit and miss. We've seen a lot of teams come together and really do well because they've got an FC who is just basically sat there screaming at them. Then we've seen a few teams that have just kind of fell apart at the seams. They've lost chips, they've gone into disarray, they've all walked in separately rather than in a group. So yeah, it's all about tactics.
I would say the most critical fight is that first fight, where you determine who has the battlefield superiority, because we have seen teams literally lose morale. We've seen teams that kind of sort of gave up a little bit once the timer they've got once their opponents have 2 or 3 minutes on the timer, and you can see that their shoulders slump and they're just kind of out of the fight a little bit.
And I mean, you can of course come back, but just the feeling of someone else holds the field, they're there, they're waiting for you, and you're basically jumping in on their conditions is a bad place to be in.
Well, you have to go back into the engagement on their terms. You know, they're in the bubble, they're sat there, they know exactly how far they can, they can reach out with their autocannons or whichever they happen to be fitted. And it's just a matter of once you have control and you're capturing the bunker, you're sat there, and anyone who's going to have to try and come in may be able to get a ship into the bubble, but they're going to get dropped pretty fast because you sat there and you know exactly what you're doing.
I think one of the things that's been really impressive about these guys is the pressure they're under. I mean, we're up here on the main stage now, but even during the tournament, people are walking around with cameras. There's a huge audience of people clustered around them, and these guys are just the face of intensity. You see, they're at their keyboards typing stuff into the market. They're just fitting ships. They've got all down. It's.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's got to be daunting for EVE players just to randomly come to Fanfest and find themselves on a stage in front of a few hundred people and then a few thousand at home as well. And then they've got a PvP and not look like idiots if they die.
Yeah,
definitely. There's not enough high fives.
No.
Could be a lot more high fives going on.
There could be.
It should be, some of the teams could work it in whenever you blow up a ship, go ahead and high five each other quickly. That would be very magnificent, just to show a little bit of joy there.
And we have roughly 3 minutes remaining, guys. 3 minutes of time remaining for fitting before we'll ask you to undock.
So this time we have the Caldari on my right, the Galente on my left. So for you guys, right, we have W Pro, Pandemic Legion, W Pro's team leader and FC is Timius. They've got Bartholomew, Doragon, and Edna. And then for Pandemic Legion, again, their team leader and FC, Slim Matt, Captain Underpants, Does Stampede, and the Slayer.
Captain Underpants, that's actually a wonderful character name.
That is
Yeah.
one of the
That makes
best
me very
character
happy.
names I've ever
I think it
heard.
would have been a little bit better if he was actually like wearing underpants over like his, something like that, right?
Yeah, it worked.
You got to represent the name. Okay.
So, new team, Pandemic Legion. Who are we expecting to come out of this with the killer graphics card that may kill everyone?
Ooh, it's a tough call, really. W Pro don't have a great deal of experience, unfortunately, because of the way their brackets worked out, which is no fault of their own. But they might pull something out of the bag. I think PL have the experience, they have the previous tournament experience,
The
and they
reputation.
know exactly what they're doing. So,
I think what W Pro really has going for them is the sort of surprise underdog, thing going on. Where again, we haven't seen them compete. Every team is at this kind sort of expecting the rupture. Maybe they're going to show up with 4 maulers and totally blow them out of the water, and they have the perfect. Maybe they've been figuring it out. Maybe they've been planning on how do we beat the rupture, and they've been doing it. And
I hope
no one-
someone brings thoraxes.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see a close-range, high-damage, blaster-based slugfest.
And that was actually one of the more successful team makeups that we actually did see on several occasions, was a pair of Thoraxes and a pair of Vexers. And it was a very Galente heavy team. And it was 2 really high damage, short range Thoraxes.
Yeah.
And then the Vexers just kind of sitting back there drone boating all day long. And both of them are bringing tons of drones as well.
And that loadout actually was the only thing that could really compete with the ruptures. It was the only thing that could clear the ruptures off the field. Although once you got a good group of ruptures coming back and they were cohesive, they were all together and they came in a group, you'd find that pretty soon those thoraxes would get dropped quite fast. The rupture would just sit out 6-7 kilometers away, out of the range of the blasters, and they'd be dead before you know it.
If there's one thing I've learned from several years of Alliance tournament, that you should never bet against Pandemic Legion.
This is true.
That's often money lost. I think
Yeah.
I'm going to go with PL for this one.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Is that a goon on the Pandemic Legion team?
it may be. We can neither confirm nor deny allegations of goons on the PL team this year.
Well, that's a bit of a mix. That's
Yeah.
good enough. I think we have less than 1 minute, actually. We should be seeing the ships
Yep. In fact, we have
undocked very shortly.
10 seconds before
10
allowing these
seconds,
guys to
that's
undock. So
timing.
guys,
So
get ready. And you can undock now and remain stationary outside of the station.
Please do not warp anywhere yet. Undock, undock, undock. Pandemic Legion, best Legion.
Okay, we'll wait for everyone to get undocked. Again, just a quick overview of the rules. We're going to have a 15-minute match.
Or
and
less.
Or less, depending on how well it goes. Maximum 15-minute match. The objective is to capture the bunker, which is a factional warfare bunker. You need to have complete battlefield superiority for a period of 5 minutes. That means no enemy ships on the field inside the sphere of influence.
And it's really important to note about that and that's one of the things that we've seen where teams send in that one straggler guy to try and, contest the point and keep them from, getting as many bunker points as possible.
And I guess we can get you guys now to warp to your beacons, enter the arena, and you can begin fighting.
And guys, remember, celebratory high fives are absolutely appreciated.
Yeah, they definitely need to be. And it need to be one of those jumps where you kind of go up and the legs come back. And
Yes, but do not high five while you are fighting. It could get distracting.
so do you think both teams are going to show up on the field at the same time, or do you think we're going to see one team that's going to react a little bit faster and get that opportunity to set themselves up?
I hope we see exactly the same thing as we did last match, where we just had both teams come in, really heavy DPS, hit each other very hard. They came in and they were so close, they were within a few kilometers of each other. And straight away, there we are. We see one team arriving already.
Now, you have to be within 10 kilometers of the bunker, and it looks like we're actually seeing teams come in just outside. In fact, it looks like
Ooh.
everyone's kind of showing up on top of each other.
Yep, this is going to be a fun one.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
we're
that
actually
would-
seeing some very different ships on the field
Yeah,
there.
we're seeing a really different loadout. We've got a full a full pack of ruptures fielded by W Pro, and PL going with a little bit of an out-the-box setup. We have, I believe it might be a laser Vexor, I'm not sure. Never seen anything like this before in my entire life.
And a good rainbow mix of crystals as well. That's wonderful.
Yes, we do indeed have a Disco Vexor.
That's incredible.
This is by far the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in an Alliance tournament or a Fanfest tournament.
Oh, this is confidence.
Well, you know, nice showing, guys. At least we can watch the fireworks.
Pandemic Legion taking it easy, just standing up,
Yeah.
enjoying
Oh,
a drink,
isn't it pretty?
just letting the laser do its work.
It makes the game look real nice. So we don't have a lot of action on the field. We have some people, they've obviously, picked their primary targets. They've put some damage on them, but we're not seeing
Actually,
people
when I'm looking at this, I don't think there is actually
Yeah,
any
actually,
cohesion
it looks-
towards how they're shooting. It's like, oh, it looks pretty.
From back here, it looks like an unconventional strategy of simply putting one gun on each guy.
Yeah, this is this is certainly a new tactic for the reigning champions of the Alliance tournament. Definitely, we've never seen this before. But yes, we have laser Vexors. Wow.
This is, I don't know, this is either exceptionally brilliant or completely retarded, depending on the outcome. But I do love it.
a little
and
bit of
they're
column
not-
A, a little bit of column B.
Well, it's very pretty for one thing. I mean,
Now, their Rainbow Power, they're still in the field, and despite the fact that
what the hell are you guys doing?
this is what FanFest is all about right here. Bunch of
wait.
drunk EVE players getting together and shooting rainbows at each other. The ship's exploding everywhere. Well, I'm gonna check out. I need a beer.
I seriously cannot brain. This just makes no sense. Wow.
I'm not sure how sad it is that they've actually almost killed two of the.
Yeah, I mean,
Got our fat bee on the table.
funnily, just actually on a little more of a serious note, we don't have anyone who's actually even attempting to claim the bunker.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, woo. Oh, this is terrible. This is just terrible.
I'm a little embarrassed for them.
I think it's awesome personally, you know, but
Now we're actually, what we did have there is they just managed to clear out all of Pandemic Legion, but it looks like someone just showed up. So, nope, they are getting the bunker now, and it's ticking up pretty quickly.
yeah, we still have Pandemic Legion in their laser ships, and oh, they're contested. The bunker is now contested, but it's slightly in the favor of Pandemic Legion's Rainbow Squad. So it's yeah, it's one of the most bizarre fights I've ever seen, to be honest.
I think it's commendable then that they clearly just came to have a good time. You know?
Absolutely,
And-
yeah.
and
We've seen teams do it before in the Alliance tournament in the past. We've seen huge disco setups with just hundreds and hundreds of smart bombs, and people potting their own teammates with them, that kind of thing. And it's really good fun. I mean, some people just come for the showmanship. Some people just want to get up on stage and have a little bit of fun, and that's fine. I mean, that's great. It's all part of what EVE's about. EVE's
Yeah.
all about community.
And I think
having a
this
time.
kind of goes back to that point we were discussing very early on when the first team was getting set up. We were discussing, is this about the fun or is this about the competition? And you clearly, in regards to this match, it's more about the fun. And not everyone's coming to FanFest to have a super serial time. They're here to have a good time, meet their EVE players, and that shows right here. They just want to have a great time and shoot some rainbow lasers.
They're also in some of the loadouts as well. I think alcohol does play a slight factor.
Yes. I know I got pretty ruined last night, so I'm barely recovered.
Yeah, I didn't sleep till like 10 a.m. yesterday morning.
Yeah.
It's not good. You can see we're still contested. We're still slightly in the favor of Pandemic Legion representing the Federation. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with W Pro. Looks as if we've got three of them. Just
So it
about
looks
to reach
like
on the field
that
again.
kind of that cohesion thing.
Yes.
Their FC clearly got them together and said, if we're going to warp back, we're warping back together. We're not doing this one at a time dance into the arena of death.
And it is really cool to see pretty much all passive. Pretty much everything is passive. It's all a slugfest, and there's no real active tanks going on. And I do believe that the Pandemic Legion team have indeed gone home. They're sat outside of their station, just kind of floating about the place a little bit. Fair enough.
Got their
And
priorities
see
straight.
their W Pro arriving back on the field. Why so many lasers?
I think they could have had more lasers. I think.
Yeah,
What
we could have.
would have had the most lasers possible?
We can see
I
their
think they all did about 4.
W Pro starting to claim the beacon back now, so they'll have control of the bunker and they'll start to claim it pretty soon. It's going to be interesting whether PL are actually going to bother to come back.
I mean, they're just now maybe getting back onto the field. They've shown us their little laser array. Was this possibly a ruse? Maybe is Pandemic Legion maybe going to show back up and come at them with their big heavy hitters and actually take the match away, or are they?
What is this madness?
I think at this point I just want to see all 4 of their ships with nothing but smart bombs.
No, we have some very interesting and extremely colourful setups. I wish you guys could see these, honestly. They're like EFT gone bad. Yeah. It almost scares me that someone has a brain this crazy. It's like, it's terrible. Well, you can see they're all back in the field now. Wow, we
The battle
actually
continues. There's drones everywhere.
have one rupture that is reasonably fitted.
I'm not sure if the smart bombs are a legitimate strategy to clear out the drones or just idiocy.
I'm going to go with idiocy, to be honest. We have everyone back on the field now.
What time does this round in? I'm not sure it can end fast enough.
Yeah, we've got roughly about half of the match remaining, I think. So I guess we're going to have to sort of sit it out. But I mean, in the more serious matches, it has been really interesting to see what people's take has been on the rule set, and how people have actually, used the rules to their advantage. It's been good to see so many ruptures on the field. I think pretty much everyone could make the call that it was going to be rupture, Vex, or Thorax, because they tend to be the best PvP
People
cruisers.
figured out very early on what it was going to take to win it, and we saw that. And there wasn't a whole lot of deviation. And in fact, when I was walking around providing, doing a little bit of commentary yesterday, I actually had a chance to stop and speak with some of the teams. And we discussed, ideas like, well, what if you, did something crazy, put sentries on Vexers and had them sit outside the arena while you had one tanky ships in and just fire in, or doing all sorts of crazy, bizarre meta strategies like that. And they said, you know what? That's just too complicated. You need to make it simple. You need to go in there with something really, hard and effective, and just win the match.
Well, we did see several heavy missile caracals at one point yesterday as
The
well.
caracal was very popular, but never made it into the final round.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just too weak. It's got a lot of DPS. You can put it together and.
Excellent. Shooting the beacon now.
Yeah. Nice, guys. Nice.
Solid. Bump up the sound.
Yeah. Wow. Apparently, it does have sound.
Yeah. Someone in the sound booth is having a lot of fun. I don't even know.
We should just go to the bar, seriously.
I got some beer tickets here. I think I need somewhere to go.
We can see the amount of DPS that's going down on the arena beacon there is tremendous. Its tank will be dead pretty soon, I think. I don't want to put ideas in anyone's head, but it's actually amusing that no one has turned on each other at this point. Oh, wonderful! Wow. Just wow.
I'm surprised that they haven't put like SIBOs on and then warp scram the pods so they can't get away and just let them sit there.
Don't give them ideas, goddammit. Be here all night.
Yeah, so there'd be like 4 pods just kind of floating in space, can't really go anywhere.
Oh dear. We have 2.5 minutes of, well, I guess we can call it a match, sort of. We have,
It's a something.
yeah, it's, we have 2.5 minutes of idiocy remaining.
Yeah. What time is this round over again?
About 2 minutes or so. We should be good. Yeah, it's an interesting use of tactics, killing the arena beacon that you are supposed to actually try to capture.
I'm surprised that the developers just haven't brought in the Titan already to clear the field.
I'm surprised the GM team haven't just killed all of these idiots. You know, it's good fun. We have about 1.5 minutes remaining now of the match.
One of the ruptures got exploded. Big surprise. I wonder how many of their teammates were responsible for that one.
Yeah, these are really, really the most difficult matches in the universe to commentate on when you
Now-
get something random like this.
You did tell them that any of the ships that are lost actually come out of their personal wallet, right?
Ah, this is wonderful. No, we've seen some interesting setups. We've seen a little bit of showmanship. We've seen.
It's really had it all, the whole package.
Yeah, it has, and it's so compressed. You never see this. The Alliance tournament is drawn out over 3 weeks. People have a lot of time between matches to analyze, to sit and think about what people have been fielding, who they'll be up against next, what they're going to predict that people are going to bring.
What would you have brought? Let's pretend for a second that you're the leader of your team and you're coming on the first day and you don't know what to expect, right? You haven't seen the development of the Rupture team. What would you have brought?
It's crap to say it, but I actually would have brought Ruptures.
You'd have
Yeah,
just
it's-
pure straight Ruptures?
Yeah. AC Ruptures, 1600 plates, and just put them straight in the center. Maybe put something like a Mala in the center as well, used how they would use them all, but I would always do on the tank. And we can see there that you guys can, if you really feel like it, stop shooting at each other now, because the match is over and we are going to have to get...
Someone is a winner.
Oh, we've got 30 seconds.
30 seconds left.
We'll have a little bit of
How come they haven't been shooting the GM ships?
I'm having trouble standing
Yeah.
up, seriously.
I think they've got the base like right under the stage.
Yeah, interesting use of tactics by PL. We've never seen him do this before in an Alliance tournament, that's for sure. And yeah. And that is it, guys. The match is over.
I think we should be applauding the fact the match is over.
That is one of the most surprising matches I've ever seen. A handful of different ships that don't have bonuses to lasers, but fitted with as many different crystals as humanly possible. And when they killed the other team, they warped back to the station instead of taking the thing. Came back, blew them up again, and started shooting the beacon.
Then each other.
And then, but I mean, we found a winner. We did find a winner. Could we have the Pandemic Legion team up here? Come on up here, guys.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. I'm going to get you your prizes. You can just hang out here with our two wonderful commentators. Just going to pick up some goodie bags for you guys. Okay, guys, we have a nice little goodie bag for all of you. It's really heavy, so it may just be a bag of bricks. I'm not entirely sure. Let's see what's in it in a second. There we go. Congratulations, Guy. Wonderful job. If I can just sneak a peek into your bag and just see some of the stuff we have here. We have the Killer Network card, which may in fact kill someone. We have the Empyrean Age by Tony Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez, of course, is working on the next book, so if you like e-fiction, there's another one coming. And we have a small magnet that you can put on magnetic things. And I think this may or may not be an Eve coffee cup. This I'm just going to make up. It's a shot glass. It's a shot glass. You're getting a box. This is some other magnetic E thing. And this may or may not be a mouse pad, or it's posters. It's a poster. It's a.
Looks like a box.
It looks like a box. You know what? The fantastic thing is you got a network card, a book, and a ton of boxes. So if you ever need to put your network card or the book anywhere, you're covered. Guys, we're going to transition relatively quickly to the auction, which is going to be here. We're going to have some original Eve artwork that you can bid on. But thank you very much, Pandemic Legion. You did a fantastic job. Fantastic / a little bit retarded, but in the end, a winning job. Thank you very much, guys. Great effort.